What's up, guys? Dan Kohan here with Rachel Moreau, real estate investor, real estate agent, business extraordinaire. She's 21 years old, and she actually lives in my hometown of Kansas City. And she actually reached out to me to try to sell me some deals. And so that's how we met, and met up through some other people as well. And I'm going to be interviewing her about what she did. She's actually got 8 units of rental real estate now, and she's running her business. And super cool, very similar to my own story from what I've learned so far. And I just wanted to interview her today so she could tell you exactly what she's done with her investing and getting into it, and what she's doing with her business now, and how she's progressing in her journey to financial freedom. So let's get right into it. All right.
So I'm Rachel Moreau. I have 8 units right now, like Daniel was saying, and I just recently went part-time in my W-2 to focus on my real estate sales business full-time. And yeah, I will say it's been quite the ride. I mean, I didn't expect to be here at this point. If you asked me 2 years back, when I started looking into real estate, started studying, if you asked me where I would be, I would have not been able to answer that, because in real estate, there's always, you can never predict the next year. And
right.
You can never tell what will happen next. I was working full-time as a warehouse worker, and I ended up selling 17 units over the last year and a half that I practiced real estate. I didn't expect to sell those many units. I just got licensed just because I want to get to know the real estate sales process and maybe sell a few homes while I was working full-time. But it just so happened to be that I work with a lot of investors, because that's kind of where I was aligned with. And working with investors is easy because they're not as emotional. The numbers, it make sense, the numbers make sense, and I wasn't going on as many showings, so I took a lot of phone calls over my break. And that's kind of where I ended up right now. And all the units that I purchased were off market. I didn't intend it to be that way, but the ones on market, it was just like a crazy bidding war. So I didn't really end up putting in any offers on the opportunities that I saw on the market. But yeah, I have 8 units. I'm just now stabilizing them all. I inherited some vacancies, and I inherited some tenants. And yeah, it's been quite the ride. But I can happily say that my rental income right now covers my former W-2 income. So
really,
you can do it like with 8. Yeah, just 8.
Is that your net, or is that just like the gross, or is that
net? Okay. Yeah, and some of them, and that's after net W-2 income, if that makes sense. So my gross W-2 before taxes is a little higher, but yeah, it's been pretty awesome. And that's not pure cash flow. I'm not taking into account maintenance calls.
Okay, so that's just like after mortgage and insurance and taxes, pretty much.
Yes, it is a little bit higher though. So I will say some of my units are under rented, so I'm predicting like next year it will be higher. But sure, maintenance calls aren't taking up a lot because I have great tenants.
Right.
But yeah, I like to factor that in. So I would say my cash flow is a little bit lower than my W-2 income, but still it's around that area, that range. So yeah, back to what I was saying, anyone can do it, like even in 2 years, if you just put your head down and focus on just bettering your life. Like it's so possible for anyone. Like I was just a lowly warehouse worker, like me can do it. Anyone can do it.
Yeah. So like what, I think that's a big intimidation for folks, is like, they're like, oh, I don't make a lot of money. I think I was blessed with an opportunity to learn some high income skills at a very young age. And I worked for like $15 an hour for like a year, and then I got some skills, and then was able to very rapidly increase my income. But especially being young, it's like those opportunities, it's difficult to become an investor if your expenses are just like eating, you can't really save any money. You have to save up some money, at least a little bit, to get into it. But like, how did you do that as a warehouse worker? Like, how did you, save up that money and actually buy the first deal? Did it cost a lot, or did it what was that process like?
So my first deal was the FHA loan. It was a house hack. Actually, I think people don't really understand how easy the barrier to entry is, especially if you've had a W-2 job. Mine was all in was 18 grand, and some people may think that's a lot, some people may think that's a small amount, but I started saving when I was in college. Like I worked landscaping. I worked as a waitress during college. I was like always working and saving. And all I thought about was trading my time for money. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can trade 5 hours of my Sunday afternoon at serving at Jose Peppers and I can make like $100. So I didn't think about investing much. I was just thinking about how much more can I work to save more money.
Right.
I ended up like with that mindset, even though it's not scalable, like you can't really scale your income that way, I still ended up saving a lot of money. After about a year working at Amazon, I would say I had around 60 grand disposable cash. Some people look at that and think I need that much to be able to buy, but you don't need that much. I mean,
no, not at all.
And I talked to my lender. The key is like having people around you who can tell you what to do. And I talked to my lender and I said, hey, I really want to buy a property in a nice area, prefer quadruplex. Based on the property values at that time, it was like 2021. So you can imagine with interest rate around 2.5, like home prices were very high, especially quadruplexes. And he said, well, your income just doesn't make it. Like you make $15.50 an hour. You can't buy a property that way. And I said, okay, what can I do? Can you include my overtime? Because I was working 60 hours a week instead of 40. And he said, well, you have to work a whole year to make that count towards your pre-approval letter. And it was very devastating because I did not want to be working 60 hours.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is, especially in Amazon. But I hated my job so much. So I said, you know what? I think I'm going to do it because this will set me up to not have to work this kind of job for the rest of my life. So I did that, and then I went back to my lender and I said, hey, I want an approval letter around 470 grand. And he said, well, yeah, it just so turns out that the numbers work out. And I mean, I just have to say, like, if you're not willing, like, literally eat crap for the first few years, I don't know, like, the first few years are going to be hard, you know, wherever you are. I mean, even if you have a great job, like, just learning all the ins and outs about real estate investing. And I got that property, I inherited the tenants. Right after I got in and moved in, my mortgage payment was subsidized by their rent. So it just broke even. So
if you would you break down, like, so you said you got so I just calculated it out. If you worked 60 hours at $15.50 with 1.5 overtime, that's like $56,000 a year. You know, you said you put $18,000 out of pocket to buy. How much was the fourplex that you bought?
It was $465,000.
So it's just a $460,000 place, because you can put 3.5% down. You only needed to come up with under 20 grand to get that to almost $500,000 worth of real estate.
I mean, do you see the power of real estate investing? Like, it was such 100%.
No, it definitely does. No, I thought about the same thing. Like, if you're looking to scale, you want to leverage as much as you can, especially when it's very low downside, like living in a place and having tenants to cover the rent. Like you're mitigating a lot of your risk, because you're reducing your expenses and making you're going to get appreciation on that entire purchase price, not necessarily your down payment, and the depreciation on that as well.
Oh my gosh, it is so massive. What shocks me is that they don't teach this in school. It's like,
not at all.
You get a degree, maybe start renting while you're in college or renting right after you get out of college, but they never teach financial literacy, which is, like, I would say finances might be the number one cause of like marital arguments. And
definitely.
It's just a cause of a lot of tension in relationship. And if I can get rid of that one thing in my life and be able to provide for my future family and for the people around me, like, man, I would love that. And it's not just about like having a Lambo, it's about like being able to tip a waitress like $1,000 without even thinking about it. I feel like there are a lot of rich people in this world who use their riches for not the most wholesome reasons or not the most wholesome causes, but there are a lot of rich people who, with those riches, their goodness is magnified. And I think that's the big why for my my pursuits in real estate and just any investment in general. It's just becoming the best version of who God created me to be.
So one question I have is, like, you hated your job, slogged it out, 60 hours a week for an entire year nonstop is definitely a lot, to be that consistent and that, obviously very intelligent, very disciplined. What led you to make that decision as opposed to I think a lot of people that I've talked to, they, investing is like the afterthought. It's like, I'm going to learn how to, become a millionaire with my Shopify dropshipping store or like whatever business or real estate agent. And then I'm going to go figure out how to invest. Whereas you kind of I'm going to just stick it out with my income here. And I'm going to get into real estate. And then you've kind of now gotten into, you're part-time doing a real estate agent and stuff. Like, what was that thought process? Because obviously, you're looking to be in a medical profession, you're aware of that, that's a long slog in and of itself, becoming a doctor. What was that decision making like? Like, what made you choose that route?
That's a good question, because I see a lot of people who, once they start learning about real estate investing, they get very excited and they're like, I should quit my job so I can be a full-time real estate investor. I'll make more money. But I knew that's not how it works. To make money in real estate investing, you either need a lot of money, a lot of knowledge on how to find great deals, and maybe a lot of handyman skills, which I didn't have, which I was like, okay.
Neither do I.
I look at a dishwasher and I'm like, how does one install it? Which I eventually learned, but I had a mental breakdown. Sorry, Puff is in the way.
Aw, kitty cat.
I realized that my biggest thing was money. So if I wanted to create leverage in real estate, which, man, 2 years ago, that was the time to be getting a loan.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was saying, it's not the time to get a loan. It's not the time to buy a house. Look at all these house values. There's going to be a crash. No, that's not how it works. Your monthly payment is low. Low interest rate, your monthly payment is low. I don't care about property values. All I care about is how much I'll be paying per month during those 30 years of the fixed rate mortgage. I realized that my biggest thing was money, saving up for a down payment and using conventional loans to my advantage. So that's when I realized, okay, I can see the end in sight. Literally the finish line was there. I don't care if it was 2 years, 3 years from now, it was there because I had a safe W-2 job. And I could get approved for loans as much as I wanted as long as I had the down payment. So that's why I decided to strap down, save up for down payment, and just get as many conventional loans as possible. So my first one was an owner-occupant loan, and I clicked on it June of 2021. And I moved in, and I was thinking about quitting my W-2. I was like, you know what? I think I would be a much better agent if I had additional income from a few more properties. Because I wouldn't be scrambling for business. I would be literally just doing business because I enjoyed it. I had a couple more properties that could cover my living expenses. I would be able to just start whatever business I wanted with peace of mind. So I started looking into buying other properties. And the next one, unfortunately, I had to put 25% down. It was a duplex and lease on it. I know.
No, you can't get 3.5% and 5% owner-occupied loans. Life sucks.
But I was in a huge hurry because interest rates were climbing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get one under contract, because I think that indecisiveness is a thief of success. I don't want to drag my feet any longer.
No, not at all.
Exactly. When you're presented with the opportunity, take it.
No, legitimate. Yeah, that's exactly. It's we just got under contract on a rehab house, and I just saw it yesterday. My partner Austin just was scrolling through Facebook, saw this wholesale deal on Facebook, and it's we've done enough deals where it's oh, okay, it's a good deal. So it's can we come over there now? And then it's he's like, yeah, come over, and so we drive over there. And we just and then he was like, oh, there's a guy coming before you. We're like, we'll just take it. We sat there for a second. They're we'll pay, it's $45,000. We'll take it. Don't worry about the other guy. We'll buy it. Cause we just if it's a good deal, and it's public, somebody's going to jump on it because they know too. But then we get over there after we've already committed to the place, and it's actually a really good place. It's a lot of it's already have rehab. So we're going to buy that. And it's that whole process took us from seeing it to essentially closing. It took 2 hours, that we just made that decision very quickly.
Signed the contract before.
Yeah, we just signed. Well, we verbally committed via text. We signed the contract today and submitted the earnest deposit.
Awesome, congratulations. That's great.
Thank you. But like even my first rehab, like it was an on market, like $60,000 house. My partner saw it and he's like, and I was in a position where I had like enough cash to buy it. And he's like, this looks like a good deal. Like, but we're going to have a cash offer because it's on market, it's in the Northland. Like, and then like, we're like, do we get it or not? We've never done a rehab before. And it's like, look, the worst that's going to happen is you got a $60,000 house. You could just sell it to the next guy, And so we're like, let's do it. Why not? Let's get into this thing. And so,
that's awesome. This is the one you posted on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I posted about this is Cherry. I don't know if you've seen that video. The one I just posted was for That's rehab number 2.
That's
so this
awesome.
will be the one we just signed is number 4. And this is in like a 8-month period.
Yeah, and when people say it's a horrible time to buy real estate, that's why I know you haven't done your research. You don't know what you're talking. I'm sorry to say that, but like, it's always a good time to buy. And when everyone thinks it's a bad time to buy, that's when you want to buy.
Exactly, when there's blood in the streets. Just buy when it's a good deal. If you know your numbers, like the numbers won't fail you. If you've got a good handle on things, like there's all just stay away from the news and focus on the data.
And I will say for the second property that I purchased, it was like my 6th unit. It was the one in Lee Summit. The reason why I decided to put 25 down is because people often ask me like, what if you could have done something else with that cash? I think the best place to park my cash is in real estate because it was just going to rot away at the bank.
Right.
I mean, I could have like did a bird deal with it, but still, that's something that I saw an opportunity with. And honestly, like I didn't have that much time at the moment, so just buying a nice buy and hold in an appreciating area. I mean, I bought it for $310, and a house just sold for $350.
Yeah, so you probably got a pretty good deal on it.
It was a no-brainer because I knew that the area was great and it would cash flow, not just by a little bit, but even though one unit is under rented like a lot, I knew that would flow after I purchased it and eventually down the road raise rents to market rent. But one unit was vacant, so I was able to take advantage of that. And yeah, right after that, I purchased my next owner-occupant loan. Which was I had to put 15% down because a whole year hadn't passed.
So you got another duplex, right?
Yes.
So how did you go from 4plex to get another duplex? Did they just let you do that, or?
That was the second deal was a conventional.
Well, right, but the third deal, like the owner, because that's just an investment loan. The second deal.
Yes, the third deal was a conventional owner-occupant loan, and I know you're gonna say you have to stay in your first FHA loan for at least a year. But I've been doing a lot of research, talking to my lender. And depending on your lender, like just talk to a cool lender who knows the way around the system.
Sure.
That, hey, I mean, if your new property will be closer to your job, and for some reason you have a decent excuse as to why you need to move, underwriters can definitely give the green light. So we closed that before the 1-year mark, which was before June 10th, which is when I closed on the 4plex. Pretty sure it was like sometime in May. But I really wanted to get it under contract, which we did in actually February. It was a very long escrow, but I locked it around 4.99, which isn't horrible. And I got that second duplex in Johnson County, which is where my W-2 job was at the moment. So it was a good excuse for the underwriter. There's always a way around the problem.
Yeah, just commit first and figure it out, and the answers will come. One question, is you have the income. You save the money for the down payment. Like, how did you get the credit to buy a place?
Well, I had a credit card. I've had it for a while.
Okay, so you just had that credit built up.
Yeah, it was just one like a Discover credit card. I actually got it because Graham Stephan was like, stop, whatever you're doing, get a credit card now. And I wasn't thinking about investing, but I said, you know what? If Graham said, I might as well get a credit card. So I signed up a few years ago. I'm pretty sure it was 3 or 4. Yeah, it was 3 years ago. And then I signed up and then I just built my credit. But yeah, with just that one credit card, you can get a credit at 730.
That's great. Yes, that was higher than mine.
Well, I've got a lot of inquiries because there's a lot of inquiries just from all the loans and everything. So right now it's hovering around 700.
Mine's at like a 719, with 6 mortgages, and I just crossed $1 million in debt. Take that, Dave Ramsey.
Oh my gosh, I'm happy for you. Congrats.
I know, I'm celebrating. I don't think about it like that. It's just like what's your monthly cash flow, and all that.
Man, you need to start writing that down too, because like I just buy these properties without thinking about how much debt I have.
Well, I don't really track my debt. It's just my net worth, right? So like I track my net worth every month. That's just, you have to put your assets and then your liabilities, because just judging by the fact that you have 3 properties, you probably have over $1 million in real estate.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
You have over $1 million worth of real estate. What a deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think about it that way, but then I realize that I buy in nice areas, so I guess like I almost think it's a scam. Like how can someone like me leverage that much money? Like it's almost too good to be true. I wonder why more people aren't doing this.
Well, think about that. If you have over like $1 million in real estate, right? If the market appreciates at 3%, then you're making like 30 grand a year in appreciation on your 3 properties, just sitting there. Just doing nothing. Like I got my first duplex I did the same kind of thing, house hack, bought it for $255, and it was probably undervalued at the time, but like it had a long-term tenant with a 3-year lease with 18 months left on it at like market rent was like $1,200 and it was like $900 for their lease. And that's why it had sat on the market for like 20 days because of that. But it's like down the street from where I live. It's really nice. And so I was like, it's like super close to where I work. I know it's going to be good. And so I ended up buying it.
When was this?
So I closed October 7th of 2020. So I've had it for about 20 months, and it's already appreciated. I got it reappraised to get a line of credit against it for $340. So that's like $80,000 or $85,000 in appreciation.
So awesome.
But I don't know, it's all a time game. Like time's on your side with real estate.
Yeah, that's why like when I saw my cash sitting in a bank account, like I have Mint, a compilation of how much cash I have, it just gives me anxiety to see that I have free cash. Basically drain all my cash, and right now I'm not really sitting on that much, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, that's the same way. I'm like, if there's money there, like we need to buy another deal. I'm like cracking the whip on my partner Austin. I'm like, go find us something else. We've got to buy another rehab. There's something wrong.
So your partner Austin, is he like the main deal finder?
Yeah, so he's a real estate agent, but he's now basically becoming a full-time rehabber, project manager. He started my duplex was his first, he dropped out of college and my duplex was his first deal. And then since then he's done like a ton of transactions, like 40, 50 transactions in the first year. And then now he's like, me and him have been partnering and basically doing a 50-50 split where I'm basically funding a lot of the stuff and he's just managing the projects. And so we've done now, this will be number 4 rehabs together. And then he's actually done 2 other ones outside of this. And so he's at 6. And this is within we just started October of 2021. So we're going pretty quick.
That's so cool. That sounds like a dynamic duo. When you have the right person on your team, nothing is impossible, especially the fact that he manages the projects and you can kind of focus on whatever you're doing. You're still working your W-2, right?
Yeah, so I still have my W-2, and I've been here for 4 years, and I've been successfully built up, 9 units of rental real estate, and then on the side, all while it's working, 50 hours a week, every week. So
yeah.
Definitely doable, like you've done.
That's awesome. It sounds like you guys are set for success. You guys, like you said, you have time on your side. Just keep improving, and down the road, it's just such a no-brainer to buy properties, rehab them, and just rent them out. And I think you guys are just set for success, basically. And yeah,
it definitely works out well. I think that I've learned some people are kind of they might have some pride or something and they want to just kind of do it themselves, but having a bigger slice of a combined pie is better than having a tiny pie. You can accomplish so much more with a team of people or having good people around you. He's doing all this stuff. We have contractors that do the work. We're all focused on our particular gift, and we're able to accomplish so much more as a team rather than trying to do it all yourself.
That is so awesome. I'm sure you add a lot of value to his life as well, and there's something to be said about having a partner with same business partner with where your goals and ideas are, and you can just keep going after deal without when there's a certain aspect of the the rehab or whatever that one person isn't great at, the other person can take over. And it's just, partnerships can go a long way. 1 + 1 does not always equal 2. It can equal more than 2.
Well, I think it just keeps you it keeps you both motivated and and going, because you can solve problems and encourage each other and push each other because we're all humans and we're all perpetually falling down and becoming undisciplined and things like that, but having somebody to kind of keep you in check and help you along, you just kind of bounce off each other and you're able to keep a lot more momentum that way.
Yeah, that's definitely very true. I mean, I've been thinking about eventually down the road partnering with someone because I've just been doing this all alone, and it's great. It feels great. Just accomplishing a lot and keeping everything. All my properties are not under partnership basically. But I think that what you're doing is awesome. I mean, you can scale a lot more with a team. And yeah, that's something definitely I should start looking into and learning from successful investors like you who have found great success doing it. So,
one thing going forward, what are some of your, what are some of your goals? You've got the 8 now. You sound like you've got enough cash flow to kind of just keep you sustained. But what's the next steps?
I definitely want to continue selling real estate full time. Not having a W-2 really frees up my mind to start thinking about other business ventures that I want to be taking part in. I really want to start a YouTube channel, start a podcast. A lot of people in my life have been telling me, you need to start a podcast. What you're doing great. You're sharing your information out, and eventually you can monetize your YouTube channel, and it'll be great. You're adding a lot of value to people's lives, and I'm sure a lot of people are seeing a young person like you. They're motivated, and not that young investors find success and post on YouTube, which I think is a great thing, and eventually I want to start doing that. Right now I'm kind of in the exploring phase because I just literally last month went part-time at my W-2. Those take a lot of my mental space, and right now I'm just there's so many other things I want to explore. And while I'm selling real estate, I want to explore other things that I always want to do, like I said, YouTube and starting a podcast and kind of going with the flow and exploring my options.
Right, kind of refiguring things out. Are you still working at Amazon?
No, so last July I was fired from Amazon.
Oh.
Yeah, thank the Lord, because I then applied for Aldi warehouse, and it was the same line of work, so I would get pre-approvals a lot easier, but the pay was $21.50 instead of $15.50.
That's a lot better.
It was a blessing in disguise. During the whole COVID craze, they were giving out stickers to people who got vaccinated, and they said, well, put on your badge and you don't have to wear a mask in the building. I'm sure I was working like a dog and I was tired of wearing the mask, so I sticker and I put on my badge, and then they called me over to HR office and they walked me out of the building.
Oh my gosh, you didn't comply.
No, I didn't comply, but man, I felt so free when they walked me out of that building. I was like, there's some things in life that may look bad on the outside, but I felt like it was a blessing.
Well, yeah, sometimes you get just so stuck in the rut, it's you don't want to lose, but you don't want to you need something else,
And yeah, it's been great just kind of upgrading from Amazon to Aldi. I mean, I enjoyed working at Aldi. Their business model is a lot better, but now I'm not working there full time anymore, so it's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. So Rachel, where should people come and find you? Where are you on YouTube, Instagram? Where should they check you out?
I have a YouTube channel, Rachel Morrow. I haven't posted that much, but I did post a breakdown video of the numbers on my first investment. So find me on YouTube if you want to see the nitty-gritty of the numbers my mortgage payment, rental income, everything. Go ahead, check that out. I have Facebook, Rachel Morrow. You can just find me there and click on the photo that matches the space. And Instagram, Rach Does Real Estate. So just Rach Does Real Estate, because I do. And yeah.
You do real estate. Oh. And yes, don't tell Austin, but if you like Rachel and want a good realtor, check her out in the Kansas City area. Shh. Yeah. Don't tell him.
I got some off-market deals.
Yeah. So yeah, how did we? Speaking of that, how did you meet me? What happened there?
Okay. So how I met you. One of the ways I find buyers for my off-market deals is I look around like the public records for owners around the off-market deals. So I was looking around these duplexes, these nice duplexes in Smithville, and I was like, this guy named Dan Kohan owns a couple units right by these off-market deals. So I might as well give him a call. It was like at 7 p.m., 7 or 8 p.m., and your dad picked up, and he was like literally interrogating me. He was like, what are you up to? And then he didn't believe me when I said that I was 21 and selling real estate and investing. He said, that sounds a lot like my son. You should give him a call. And then I think he gave you my number or me your number, and then we ended up having a great conversation. I was like, man, what you're doing is pretty awesome. You're the first person that I've met in this market who's doing what I'm doing. And it was just very encouraging. And I was like, well, I mean, if you're finding success in today's crazy market where everyone else is like, it's a horrible time to buy a house, I think that's just another testament to, if you have the work ethic, if you have a good intention towards people, you can succeed in anything in life. And that was just a very, very uplifting conversation we had that night. And your dad is really cool.
Yeah, he is. Oh, we actually work together. He owns the business, yeah. So it definitely will work out. I mean, I think it's going to get better every single year you do it. Like me, I'm definitely in a high growth, rapid scale mindset. But like I did the first deal year 1, 4 deals year 2, and then I've already done 4 deals this year so far. So.
Awesome. Are most single family or multi-family?
So I got a duplex was my first, and I got a house, and then bought my first rehab house, and then which I didn't keep. My partner Austin kept that as his rental, and then closed on December 31st on another duplex. So there's a creative one there. I closed it with my brother. So he's the owner occupant and I'm the non-occupant co-borrower. And so we were able to get a 15% down 30-year fixed on that. And he's living there on one side with roommates even. And so then I got a triplex. That was an off-market deal. Called a for rent sign, talked to the old lady, came over the next day and had it under contract in half an hour in my town, just like 2 minutes away from my work.
You just snatched up that deal.
I did. I was like, it's like literally like it's a block away from my office, and it's just like this small, just a cash cow of a triplex. And the gal, I called her up. She's just like 80 years old, super, super sharp, like super nice, but just wanted to get out of the game. Just like didn't want it anymore. And so I went over there the next day and got it under contract. That was kind of that took a long time to close because I had a bunch of financial debacles with trying to get the money out of the rehab house and then buy these 2 deals, but it closed on that one in January. I think it was like I went down there in a blizzard to close it because it had taken so long. But commitment. So I wasn't going to let the blizzard stop me. And then I've closed on the triplex. That's 8. We just refied and finished this burr for this house that you just saw the video of in KCK. That's number 9. That's the last of the rentals right now. But we're working on one rehab that's done, but we have to refi. And then we just got under contract on another one today. I've got like really, high income goals and high net worth goals. So just we're trying to do as many rehabs as possible, burr deals, and then and then if we can, finding any kind of good, multi-family turnkey deal if possible. It's just they're hard to find.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's what I've been doing so far. But if you just stick with it, it's like it's just getting better and better. It just gets faster and faster because you have more skills, more money, and stuff like that.
It's kind of like Brandon Turner. He talks about like the snowball effect. Mm-hmm. He always talks about it, and he's so right. Like once the snowball starts gaining momentum and picks up more snow, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And right now is the point in your business where you can definitely scale a lot more. And I'm sure you've worked a lot to get to this point. And there's a lot more adventures to come, so I'm excited to watch you on your journey.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to watch you too. No, it's really cool to see you doing. It's such a similar journey to my own. That's why I wanted to have you on.
Well, thank you for interviewing me. I mean, it was a lot of fun to share, and I think a lot of new people in the space, they think that the real estate investing community is like a tight-knit community. Like you don't want to. No, there's like way too much real estate to go around. I mean, it's all about abundance, and that's how you get successful in life. Just giving and growing. That's what life is all about. And talk to the right people and they will share their secrets. I mean, you need a secret. Real estate is so fundamental. And if there's anything that confuses you, like how do I find the right subcontractors? How do I refi? How do I find the right lender? Just talk to someone who knows about investing. You can talk to me, reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, or talk to Dan.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd answer any questions anytime. Love talking about real estate. People love talking about real estate.
They can talk their head off.
Well, guys, with that, thanks, Rachel, for coming on. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, check out Rachel, and we'll see you guys in the next video.